My name is Noah. I'm an undergraduate senior at UNC Capitol Hill, majoring in nutrition, and in the fall, I'll be returning to UNC, actually the same program Kali is in right now, to do an MPH in nutrition and dietetics. I'm an intern with CAFN right now, which is Wake County's local food council. And what I really wanted from this internship is getting a new perspective on food and nutrition. Through my nutrition major at UNC, I got the super biomedical science and research side of nutrition. And food system wasn't even mentioned once in the whole curriculum. And it was about time, like, I really started to step into agriculture and seeing how people access healthy and nutritious foods. So these are my three main contributions to CAPN, and probably like my three biggest learning points. Number one, helped keep Wake County citizens informed of CAPN and other local food system news and resources through communications. Number two, connecting with the local Wake County community and multiple stakeholders. And number three, I learned how to center race equity in all projects, and I have pursued multiple projects and initiatives led by Dr. Bethel and Cindy. And this was a major focus of the whole Food Council, and it continued along with all the work I was doing. So keeping Wake County informed, this is my first point. Basically did a lot of website development, newsletter releases. We wanted to get the newsletter back on track since the pandemic. On the right is our first newsletter release of the year. This is one that I created. I created a bunch of the graphic design materials, put together the technical content, reached out to people to have them send me resources. And then we have been back on track with sending bi-monthly newsletters. I released one in January, one in March, and then I sent an April event highlight because we were really trying to publicize one of our events, an environmental justice webinar, which I also helped organize. And on the left, this is website development. We wanted to make resources more accessible to citizens of Wake County. This is a resources page I developed. We wanted to center race equity at the top of it, include a bunch of race equity resources. We also have sections for like data and planning, media and blog posts. I added new information to all the circle pages, and circles are basically the organizing structure of CAFN. So we really wanted to emphasize that structure and how people can get involved. And connecting with the community, I represented CAFN at a bunch of meetings through email. For example, last Friday, me and Dr. Bethel, we went to the Karen Community Farm, which is a local farm in Wake County run by Karen refugees from Burma, who fled Burma due to political persecution. And they're running a local farm in Wake County, and we want to start this project, actually a project that Dr. Bethel started a few years ago, where we highlight minority farmers in Wake County. It's going to be a video project. And we already had video interviews from a Black farming family in Wake County. And I pitched the idea to highlight the Karen Community Farm because I was very intrigued with their story and how they maintain traditional cultural farming practices in a new climate. So connecting with the community, did that with also at the community food gathering, met a bunch of people, was kind of a representative for CAPN there, also with Cindy, she was there as well. And yeah, that was one thing that I really learned and took from my experience here, learning how to connect with others. And centering race equity in all work, race equity has been a central focus from the very beginning. This was something that Dr. Bethel and Cindy emphasized to me. It started from like the first week when I was kind of being introduced to all of the major projects I would be working on throughout the whole academic year. And Dr. Bethel was talking about how we want our newsletter to be accessible to Spanish readers and speakers, people that don't read English, which is a large population within Wake County, the Hispanic population. And that's something I did from like the beginning of the internship until the end. And it was something that was a big emphasis when I was helping plan the environmental justice webinar with Dr. Bethel, which is an environmental justice webinar that kind of focuses on food equity specifically. And I helped reach out to the speakers that were going to be presenting, help send them an agenda, come up with the questions that I want them to focus on. Basically a lot of back and forth, being persistent, communicating and being very clear about what we want, and, doing our best to kind of compromise when it was just impossible to get exactly what I wanted, because it's never possible to get exactly what you want. When people have different schedules and different priorities, like it just can't happen the way you want it to. And that's something I learned right there. It's essential to be persistent. That's not my first point. But I it's just something I had to learn from the very beginning. Like, I'm probably the only one that is this is like more so my 9 to 5. This is my only job. The people that are the leadership within the food council, they have other responsibilities and they are passionate about the work they do, but you really have to reach out and be persistent if they don't get back to you on time. This isn't just within the food council. This is within the partners, community members. You got to be persistent and reach out. If people care about this work, sometimes it can just slip their mind because there's so much going on. You know, we're all trying to make money, get food on our plates and stuff. And sometimes things slip up and you're not always on track. And that's also something I had to be accountable for on my end as well. I learned how many people are involved in local food system work, all the stakeholders that are involved. I learned that the only people that make an impact are not just people that are involved in academia. That's kind of something that you kind of expect as being like a college student. You're like, okay, how do I make an impact without a degree? But then you go to a community food gathering and you see that no one there is really working in public health. It's really just people that are passionate about the work they do. They're in the community, they work for nonprofits. They're just, you know, really putting their time on the line to, you know, benefit their community and make a change. So that's something that I learned as well. I learned how to turn a research interest into an impactful project. Dr. Bethel gave me the opportunity to take this community I was very interested in, the Karen community of Wake County, and kind of couple it with the Color Farming Project, which was already an existing project. And I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to pursue a research in kind of a new way, in a way that was a super biomedical or microbiology focus, one that kind of focused more on community building. And like my last point, I kind of foreshadowed this a little, but health professionals and public health practitioners must be more involved in local food system work. I mean, that's something also that Phoebe Gooding was kind of talking about. She's one of our presenters for the environmental justice webinar, but she's like a local community advocate that works in Durham County, actually, and she's a big environmental justice advocate. And she was talking about how the communities know exactly what they want, but, you know, educators, public health practitioners, people that know the more technical information, they got to, you know, provide their resources and help community members get their ideas off the ground and offer them that technical assistance. And I'm very glad that I had this opportunity, because now I know how I can make a tangible impact that also benefits the community in a very honest way and actually centers their issues and concerns. That's all. Thank you.